Hello and thank you for joining in on the Tuesday edition of Journalists Hangout. I am Kemi Foladiemo. Today on the program, Court sacks Governor Umahi, his deputy, the Speaker, and 17 Ebonyi Assembly members for defecting to the APC from the PDP. Plus, APC acting national chairman takes charge, serves notice for NEC meeting and prunes down convention committee members. Later on the show, Governor Sanwo-Olu vows that justice will be served in the case of lady killed after boarding BRT. I'll be hanging out with Adekunle Yusuf and Asuko James, while Babajide Kolade Otitoju will join us via Zoom. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. And it's good to have you join us, Adekunle Yusuf.
I'm glad.
The BKO will join in, like I said earlier. But then let's also say a happy International Women's Day celebration to all Nigerian women out there. Asuko, well, first of all, I said earlier on that the day won't be complete without appreciating men. Here, even in the TVC family, indeed, the support of you men to us women is laudable, and we appreciate you.
Thank you for appreciating us. because I won't sound biased, you know, but I think the women have done themselves very well. I'm proud. I'm proud of every woman. Especially when once you see a woman who is pregnant, we should all, you know, give thumbs up to a pregnant woman, you know, because it's not easy carrying a child, you know, a living being for 9 months, and at the end of the day, it brings out the person, and the person grows up, becomes somebody who everybody will look out for, you know, and that is the strength of a woman, the determination of a woman, and for the theme of this year, which is break the bias, I think it's going to resonate everywhere, and people are already thinking about that. And the National Assembly has also break themselves behind a bit, you know, break their backs after what they did 1st of March, which is the month of the women. You know, now they have seen that they can't do without a woman. You know, so I want to congratulate every woman everywhere in the world.
Right. What about you? What is it like for you? How does this day resonate with you, Adekunle?
Well, you know, women constitute at least half of our population. When you look at votes and voting in Nigeria, the bulk of votes come from women. So he has talked about family life, but I'm talking about, you know,
politics.
There is no way you can exclude women from the public space, from governance, from everything that matters. If you do, a sizable part of our population is just being disenfranchised. Not in election way, but at least if you don't give access to women,
okay,
you won't get the best. And if all of us, you know, cooperate, maybe things will get better.
All right, gentlemen, that said, if you're ready, Journalists Hangout starts now. All right, so let's begin our discussions fully now, still in the spirit of International Women's Day celebration, which is today. We begin with gender equality issues. Well, now the House of Representatives has rescinded its decision on 3 gender-related constitution alteration bills. Now, these bills are for the expansion of the scope of citizenship by registration, as well as the affirmation action for women in political party administration, and the provision for the criteria to be an indigene of a state here in Nigeria. The bills for the creation of special seats for women in national and state houses of assembly and the 20% quota for women for appointment into federal and state cabinets were, however, not listed in the motion for the U-turn. Well, Asuko, you said a bit of that in your opening remarks now, but How do you weigh this move by the House of Representatives? Like you rightly noted days ago, the decision of the House not to, work on these bills now, contrary to expectations before now, the likes of Mrs. Buhari, coming in to show solidarity, and all of a sudden, a huge disappointment for the women. As of this morning, in fact, there were still protests in Abuja and elsewhere on this move, and now we see this about turn.
Yeah, I want to commend the leadership of the House of Representatives. I think after the protest, widespread protest from 1st of March, where women were thinking that it's going to be they declare like a public holiday for themselves, where the National Assembly will now see them as an integral part of the system, and only for them to be jolted by the votes in both houses, both at the Green Chamber and the Red Chamber. It was like it was planned. But after everything, after the protests, after the reconciliation, and what you have seen today, the Speaker and the committee of the House, the whole, decided, okay, let's reconsider the bill. It was serious because if you look at it, the way they were voting was as if they were angry with the women. Every bill that came concerning women, it was nay, 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 all failed that particular day. But now that they are reconsidering the bills, it will go a long way, at least to give women hope that at least something, they are not just women for women, but at least there's the kind of equity, and there will be that balance, either in the political space or even in the social space. Because what you notice is that sometimes where you have opportunity, where government have opportunity of employing women, appointing women into some positions. Imagine having a commissioner, a woman, I'm just saying because I've not seen any, a Ministry of Women Affairs being run by a man, and at the end of the day, everybody will feel cool for it. Or you see a ministry for youth or children, anything that concerns children being run by a man. No, I feel that a woman can do better when it comes to such ministries. And with this, it will now give anybody who is at the top, because we are even praying that someday we will have a governor, a female governor, and someday we might have a female president, whereby these bills will make a lot of sense. And she can also push for more bills that will also give women that equity and equality when it comes to positions and social issues. Because right now, women are even relegated. Whether we like it or we don't, women are still relegated. But with this, if the bills are passed, it's just, we have moved further. And so after this, we want to see more, whereby women will be able to women will have power to be able to take decisions, and then they won't be afraid. This is for them to consider this. I think it's going to go a long way. Especially, I looked at one of the bills, the one that talks about bill to provide special seats for women in the National and State House of Assembly.
That's still a no.
That one is still a no. Because it's going to be very difficult.
Okay.
Because that one is dependent on the people.
All right.
Down in their different constituencies.
All right. Adekole, what's it like for you? How much of a significance is this change of mind on the part of our lawmakers?
I'm yet to see any change of mind, I have to confess to you, because bringing back an issue doesn't mean it will eventually,
but at least it will be reconsidered and thrown up.
But I commend the leadership of the House for at least being sensitive to the feelings of women. That I like a lot. But there's nothing to celebrate yet. You understand my point? Because some of these things we think is about law, it's about legislations, are really, deep in our culture, sometimes in our religions. You get my point? There are sections of Nigeria where a woman has no right of inheritance. And there's nothing anybody can do for now. There are some sections of Nigeria that the woman is seen majorly as you understand my point? And some we want to say is because of religion, some will say it's culture. So we have a lot of work to do in this aspect. I love what the women are doing, but I want them to do more, in the sense that how do we change some of the negative stereotypes in our culture? There's a section of Nigeria that I know very well. I won't tell you that if a woman has 10 children and all of them are women, all of them are young girls, the family believes that the person is yet to marry, that you still have to marry another person until you get a man, a boy. You are not yet a married person. You get my point? And when these things are taking place, you see the role women themselves, mothers, play. Some of them, you wonder that, don't you know you are being unfair to your fellow woman? You get my point? So when you blame men, we should also blame part of these problems on women themselves, instead of standing that, but because you are the mother-in-law, your son gets married to a lady that doesn't have a boy, they have 4 children, all of them are girls, you have to insist that the boy must marry another woman because she has to have, or they continue to have children. You get my point?
Until they get to that point.
Yes, it happens. Okay. And when you watch very well. So many of these issues, they are not good for us. For example, look at another one, which I want the National Assembly to address. A woman gets married to somebody from another state, and she becomes a political, a known quantity in politics, and she wants to run for office. Do you know, by our law, there will be controversy?
Yes,
the people in her husband's state, where she's been 10, 20, 30 years, suddenly she becomes a nobody. She will have to run back to so state where she has led for 30, 40 years. So these are some of the absurdities in our system
now
that we should address.
We see this bill now having a second chance. We'll see how it all plays out when it is tabled again before the House. But that said, now it's time to talk, dive deeper into politics, where that vice has persisted in a particular society without reprimand doesn't validate it. And the practice of defection or cross-carpeting by political office holders has been a vexed issue in our politics, and opinions about it may now change as a federal high court sitting in Abuja has sacked the Ebonyi State Governor, Mr. Dave Umahi, his deputy, Eric Igwe, as well as the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, and 17 other lawmakers, this over their defection from the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, the APC. In his judgment, Justice Eyang Eko ruled that their defection was unconstitutional. Justice Eko ordered all the lawmakers who defected to vacate their seats, while salaries and allowances collected from the period of their defection till date be forfeited to a government coffers. Interesting judgment there, and we've seen Governor Umahi talking tough, despite this strong words by the judge, saying he still remains in power, he still remains the governor, also, using the constitution to back his stance. Asuko.
Exactly. It's going to be interesting because I know that I think in February, the State High Court, he actually won something similar at the State High Court. That is
Indeed.
That is the person he defeated when he was in court, PDP, went to court because he was APC candidate who took him to court, and Umahi actually won. And that was the State High Court. Now, the Federal High Court, that same matter, or similar matter, but different, let me say different parties or different plaintiffs.
Okay, what happened? What happened was that in
the one of the earlier one
in Ebonyi State, you understand me? His party man,
which is
now
that's the one in February. The state one.
This one is from
the PDP.
But the party his party man that took him to court, said, since you are no longer in
PDP,
party, you went. So, but
those votes belong to the party.
The state high court said, it doesn't have a case, and they threw out.
Even went on to say he enjoys immunity.
Immediately, the same man, went for, has appealed. The matter is in the appeal court. Whereas there's another case which is almost similar, but this one by the PDP. The PDP just went straight, to the Federal High Court in Abuja. And now, when you look at the wordings of the judgment, very, 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 very strict. Strong. Because apart from so many things the judge, said, the judge said the man is deputy, and all the 17 lawmakers should stop parading themselves as governor, as deputy governor, as this and that, and ordered the INEC to ask PDP, to
bring a name,
or if that becomes impossible, they should order a new
fresh election.
So believe me, it is predictable, because I want to say appeal on this matter is predictable, because the governor enjoys the right of appeal. So when you said the governor was talking tough, yes, because he knows he has the right by our laws to go on appeal. You get my point? So if the governor is talking tough, he is sure that at least he will explore his rights within the law to go on appeal. And when you go on appeal, straight to appeal court, from there to Supreme Court. And by the time the whole thing will be resolved, we will be conducting another.
All right, gentlemen. I'll get back to our discussions here in the studio. Let's bring in BKO now to have a bite at this discussion. Welcome, BKO. So looking at this Ebonyi State issue, first, a State High Court made a verdict on it, and now a court of coordinate jurisdiction, the Federal High Court, has also, delivered a judgment of this magnitude, which doesn't only affect the governor's deputy and, several others. What's the impact of this for you, bearing in mind that indeed, as has been rightly noted, he enjoys the right to appeal?
Well, I think that at some point in our political life, we've got to put an end to the nonsense that we see close to every election year, or even an election year. People cross-carpeting in a laissez-faire manner. We've got to find a way to put an end to this political tradition, because it is ugly, it is immoral to secure your mandate through a party and then, for reasons best known to you, cross to another party. It happens all the time. Once we are approaching an election year, you start seeing politicians jumping from one platform to another. I think that at some point we've got to find a way to solve this problem. The judge said something that I found to be of value. He said in Nigeria, the votes belong to political parties and not to candidates. And by the same token, the votes that put Governor Umahi in office belong to the PDP. Therefore, in the wisdom of the judge, since he had defected to the APC, he should be deemed to have quit his job or to have resigned. I hold on to what he said about votes belonging to political parties. I have always argued that votes should belong to the candidates, because political parties are inanimate objects. They cannot vote for themselves, though they can be voted for. So we agree, because there have been Supreme Court judgments to that effect. If we agree that votes belong to political parties, it means that you got to power through the votes of the political party. The votes belong to the political party. You cannot transfer the votes to another party. I guess, in essence, this is the point that the judge was making, and I know that, yes, there is a higher court. It's not the final court. It may not even go beyond this point. Umahi will certainly not be the last person to defect. We've seen, even after him, we've seen Matawale, Bello Matawale defect in Zamfara. Others will defect. Yes. But this is an unwholesome culture. You know, it's already part of our political culture. It wasn't this bad before now. But the Constitution frowns at legislators defecting to other parties. Yet, the same Constitution does not say anything wrong in the executive changing political parties, like a woman will change her underwear. It's extremely irritating. It's extremely immoral to be doing this every election year. The run-up to elections is what we see all the time. And all the parties are guilty. It's not just the ruling party alone. The ruling party in the state, well, if it is PDP, you will see many APC members joining the PDP where the PDP is in power. So if the Constitution prescribes loss of their seats to them, I mean the parliamentarians, I see no reason why the same Constitution should be silent about what should be the fate of the executive when it chooses, even if there is no evidence of rancor or irreconcilable differences within, to move to another party. So I'm looking at this as a moral issue, not simply not simply about Governor Umahi or the 17 lawmakers that defected with him. I think we've got to find a way to solve this problem. Okay. People defect in the US. Right. Don't defect in the big number.
All right, BKO. Well, Asukwa James, so, and that is actually what Governor Umahi is riding on at the moment, that there is nothing in the Constitution that's, warrants why we should be removed, because the Constitution is only talking about defections of lawmakers. So and it also says that that this is a moral issue and may not, and it isn't a constitutional issue. Is like the decent thing to do, that the party owns the vote and not necessarily the persons. But how do you see this all perhaps changing the dynamics of politics, especially defections, as we move forward?
So it will, just like BKO said, by the time they get to the Supreme Court, I think the Supreme Court will be the one to now tell us, okay, fine, if you defect, this is what happens, because even if they move, just like we were just saying, we had one state high court judgment, we had another one now federal. If they appeal, we go to appeal. And then the Constitution, if you look at it, Section 180, Section 188 and Section 189 gives immunity to the governor. It tells you how a governor can be removed based on the Constitution. Defection is not there, and that is what Governor Umahi is holding on to. So if he takes that to the Supreme Court or to the appeal court, it depends on who the justices will be for them to say, okay, fine, you can't remove. But morally, I think it is wrong for anybody to get votes from a particular political party and now defect to another. But I am Kemi, I can tell you, if this passes, nobody will defect again in Nigeria.
Okay, I want a final word, however quick, from you, Adekunle Yusuf, on this. We'll be going on a break in a few seconds' time now, but where do we go from here?
I want the Supreme Court of Nigeria to put a stop to the political prostitution in Nigeria. Whether our laws, envisage that we will have, all kinds of characters who don't even, see any moral duty to stay within their party or not. But our court, the Supreme Court, can change that narrative, make a clear case that in every election, the votes you get belong to your party, you move and you quit. The moment that is in place, our politicians will start behaving like, normal persons.
All right, you're watching Journalists Hangout. More discussions on the program right after this break. Please stay with us. You're watching Journalists Hangout on TVC News. Well, amidst the leadership crisis rocking the ruling All Progressives Congress, the emergence of Governor Abubakar Sani Bello as the acting chairman may now be likened to a Daniel that has come to judgment in a movement to consolidate his position as the acting national chairman of the Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of the APC. Governor Bello has now announced a notice of meeting for the National Executive Committee, that's the NEC. After meeting with members of the Caretaker Committee, he announced the date for next meeting and the pruning down of the National Convention subcommittees earlier constituted by the sacked Mai Mala Buni leadership. Now this to accommodate other critical interests in the party. Now, here's a picture of how the emergence of Governor Bello has been accepted at the APC National Secretariat.
Yes. That is good. That is good. Thank you. Chairman. Brand new chairman. Chairman. Excellency. Welcome here, Mr. Your Excellency. Excellency.
All right, Governor Sani Bello there. And we begin this round of conversation with BKO. It's more than 24 hours now or thereabouts since, this news trickled in. How is it looking like for you? More than 24 hours now, exit Mai Mala Buni and entering the Sani Bello-led extraordinary committee. Where is this all going? There are concerns about legitimacy, about acceptability, and now we are seeing him moving on a certain leadership.
Well, I think the leaders of the party use some level of wisdom in addressing this matter. If Mai Mala Buni was sacked or seen to be sacked, it will trigger some controversy because the people who sacked him did not put him there in the first place. The neck of the party, and the president put him in office. So people will ask why it wasn't the neck that was sacking him. Of course, his colleagues, governors, ganged up against him. They had these meetings over 2 nights. I talked about some of those demands, some of the things that made them angry. You can see that he's gone on to address some of what I said yesterday. The extremely high number of committee members, more than 1,800 pension committee members. And not only did they put such a large number of committee members in place, the governors, a good number of the governors had their list turned down. Whereas an individual in the party, the secretary of the party, will go on to put more than 200 nominees of his own. So you see now that the governor of Niger State has gone now to prune down that number of the convention committee members significantly, because it was one of the demands, it was one of the issues that these guys were angry about, beyond the fact that some of the committee members, the caretaker committee members, accused Mai Mala Buni and the secretary of marginalizing them, of not carrying them along. So Governor Bello has moved, has had this meeting with these agreed committee members, and is trying to give them the feeling that, look, We need to work together. We need to plan together. Now, the second thing, I talked about party chairman, state party chairman yesterday. These state party chairmen were given certificates indicating that they had become chairmen of the party in the various states, but they were never inaugurated. Now, if you are not inaugurated, then you have no power. You cannot even exercise that duty legally because you were not inaugurated. One of the first things that Governor Bello has done is to inaugurate the state chairman and state party chairman in the state who were Abuja and exercise their functions as legally as chairman of the party in the state. And the governor, look, we are ready for this convention. He has already issued memos to party leaders indicating that he's ready to proceed with the convention. Some of the things they claim that Malabuni did, I have no evidence, was that he didn't want convention to take place. You know, when you start making these kind of allegations about a person, it's not going to be difficult to get support. And even when they walk up to the president and tell the president that the evidence they have is that he had no plan to do convention, he doesn't want to do convention, definitely the president will believe their story, because the party had wasted so much time in even forming a zoning committee. You cannot go ahead to do convention without the positions properly zoned to the So
all right.
Right now that he is ready for work and he is showing it, and clearly the people in the party secretariat, from the way they received him yesterday, they are happy to work with him as a member of the caretaker committee that was appointed by NEC. So legally he's occupying that position because he's the most senior governor in that committee, because he's the only two-term governors amongst them. Others are just first-term governors, including me, Malabuni.
Adekunle Yusuf, what is your assessment of the situation, especially with the crux of the matter, APC cleaning house, preparing itself, for the general election, using the common convention as a benchmark, so to speak?
I see the party sinking deeper and deeper. It's in a hole already, and it's been like that for a long time. And in the party, instead of trying to climb out of the hole, is digging deeper and sinking deeper. Because whatever the new acting chairman may have done, you have to do things that will make people happy, and of what in politics, on what basis would you call what happened? If it were a military thing, call it a coup. You get my point? Legally speaking, on what would you want to say, okay, it's emergence? Through what? Is it NEC of the meeting? Is it anything? Oh, I have the support of the president. Everybody can say that. The president doesn't own the party. All of them, including Mr. President, own the party. You get my point? So you say you have the support, you have the Buni may have done, things that make people, his colleagues in the party, governors and all that, totally unhappy with the state of affairs in the party. Fine, that's true. But there are ways you go about it. You can remove him. That's also within the powers of the party. But when you are doing things, I don't know whether we are in a democracy anymore, because there are ways you do things in politics. But the only way I know people behave this way at the National Union Road, another leader can just emerge tomorrow, another one today, another one tomorrow, another one next week. You get my point? And supremacy thing. Here, if one of them goes to court, the party will sink deeper and deeper in crisis. Tell me, who will recognize this? you are the acting chairman. Who made you your acting chairman? Because some of your fellow aggrieved fellow governors are with you, it doesn't change anything. You get my point? That's the way I see things.
Okay.
How can your own chairmanship stand the test of law? Because certainly somebody may want to go to, we even go to court. And before you know it, this is a time the party should actually resolve its differences. How many times have they, cancelled
convention?
Yeah, so I mean, now this one they fixed close to Ramadan. I've been expressing my doubts that it won't hold, that you will be wasted all the time, and you have to, if you understand, some of the many people in the party. I'm talking from the north. That time, fasting period means a lot to them. It means a lot to them. Why, convention close to that period and all that? That's my personal, worry.
Right.
But now with this, I believe the problem is even getting more complicated, because how would they address it? In 2 weeks' time, the president will be back, and whether the president truly says he should do this or whatever, we just it.
Okay, let me compare all that has been said so far now with Asuko's views. Governor Bello has gone on now to summon or to order for a NEC meeting. How do you think this crucial body will try and make sense of what has happened? Like Adekunle has said now, the issue of how he himself emerged in the first place. Another editorial is saying, will they further seal the fate of the exiting or the exited Governor Malabuni, or what will happen at the NEC meeting, from your assessment?
The NEC is the overall body, when once it comes to, the political party. So when once the NEC ratifies Bello as the acting national chairman, he goes ahead. Don't forget that even the central committee, the coordinating committee for the national convention, for the APC national convention, Bello is like the vice chairman. After Buni is Bello, that is the next. So APC can say, okay, fine, Buni is not around, and Bello is taking over as the acting chairman. Adekunle has said something which I beg to disagree. First, how did even Buni emerge? Didn't they have a national working committee on ground before they now sacked them and say because they don't like the man's face there? They removed him, and then they put their own central, whatever they call, caretaker, whatever committee.
Extraordinary.
You understand? That was supposed to work for 6 months and then bring in a new national working committee. After that, 2 years, they are still on it. So if they remove him, this is just like saying the cane that they use in beating the first wife.
No,
up there.
I was talking about the process.
Now the process. No, it's the same process.
Okay.
Whether you use the front door, you use but you have entered the house. That is the first. You use the front door or you enter from the back door. Is the same house that you are entering. So the thing is, APC, what they want is, they have seen from the body language of Buni that he didn't want to conduct the national convention. And the president, if you look at the president, he has always been insisting that this national convention must hold. But because the governors, they had their ulterior motive, especially Buni. I'm sorry to say, he's a good person. He came, he stabilized the whole system. He brought in new people who some of the court is now trying to remove. You understand? But the thing is, if you want to, go all out and do something good, go all out and do it. Don't start to find a way to make people begin to doubt you. And that is what the other governors who went to ambush the president did. That guy, Mr. President, this man does not want to do the national convention. We don't know the reason why he doesn't want to do the national, because they were also prepared. In fact, when we heard that they wanted to do the first, it was on the 26th of February that it was slated for the national convention. Eventually, we looked at it. The national convention that we know as a political scientist and everything that we are, journalists and everything, we know that before you even do that, committees will always come out. But they didn't say anything about
nothing.
committees. Everybody was quiet about it. Buni did not say anything. Even when he went to a particular event, he grudgingly said it was going to be March 26. He didn't believe that that word would come out from his mouth. But now the president is insisting that it has to be March 26. The governors are ready. If Bello is the one that would move the ship,
At least
let him move it. It's just 2 weeks. Bello is not interested in staying for 6 months. He's just there for 2 weeks. So that the party will have a face. They have a bigger battle with PDP. PDP is just standing, looking at them, watching, looking at their moves. So they have to put their house in order so that they'll be able to face the bigger challenge, which is the 2023 election. And if they miss it, if they miss the national convention, if they miss it, they don't do the national convention and they want to start saying, oh, let them move like that, they will have another challenge legally.
All right, gentlemen, well, we'll wait and see how, the pendulum will swing further. We'll continue to monitor the development indeed. But from the forest to the roads now, the classrooms and the buses, it appears nowhere is safe for residents here in Nigeria. Now, the gruesome murder of a Lagos-based fashion designer, Oluwabamiche Ayonwale, after she boarded a BRT bus in Lagos, leaves bitter taste indeed in one's mouth. The driver of the bus has been arrested after the body of the 22-year-old was found lifeless, and an enraged Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has assured Nigerians that justice would be served in the death of Oluwabamiche. In a statement, Governor Sanwo-Olu vowed that his administration will leave no stone unturned in the investigation and arrest of everyone found culpable in the kidnap and death of the lady. BKO. All right, so yesterday we saw that the driver of the BRT bus was arrested. First of all, listening to him, what are your initial thoughts? And when you weigh that against what the government is now saying, recall that at a point, many notable Nigerians had said the government was uncomfortably silent on the matter.
Well, the first video that went viral, this driver claimed that this driver said that he actually he owned up to raping her. Then there was another recording of his so-called confession in which he did not own up to raping the woman. So these things are really not adding up. It's such a massive embarrassment for this to have happened in Lagos and in a BRT bus, for example. It also shows that there is not enough monitoring of these drivers. It means that even these people given this job need to be thoroughly evaluated, and they should have guarantors that we can be sure of their impeccable character and all that. A situation in which thugs and people's conduct make them not far away from thugs and layabouts get the opportunity to drive BRT, and then we are seeing evidence now that some of them are killers, some of them are rapists. I mean, better monitoring and better evaluation of applicants for the job of driver will enable us to at least be sure that only the best, only the right people get to drive these BRT buses. This is a big embarrassment to the government, and government must do its best. As Governor Sanwo-Olu has said, that the government would make sure that justice is served. Governor Sanwo-Olu has to ensure that justice is indeed served. We can't have anything less than that. How do you pick a woman, just that woman alone? And she was complaining that how come you are not picking other passengers? How come it's just me in your vehicle? Unfortunately for him, the woman was communicating with someone else to say, see, oh, this is the situation that I found myself. So many oddities just happen in our country. We need to protect our people better. And it shouldn't be in a BRT bus that this sort of nonsense will happen. Because, it damages the reputation of the company. So we need justice, and justice should come as quick as possible. It is in our country that justice takes eternity. Elsewhere, once this happens, arrest, bring the guy to court, get the judge to expedite his case, and then justice is served. That way, more and more people will know that when you do this thing, when you commit a crime, this is what happens, and they will turn away from a life of criminality. But justice can go on for up to 10 years, 15 years. At the end of the day, people have even lost track of the matter. So it's just terrible.
And when you even look at the fact, I can just imagine what the bereaved family would be going through at this time. And it's not just a loss to the family, it's indeed a loss to the nation, because this is such a bright, promising, brilliant girl. Look at the clues that she was able to leave behind in that distressing moment that many people would probably have been transfixed or out of shock. The fact that she was smart enough to call loved ones, and it's really a chilling thought. It gives one a really chilling, scary thought. But I hope that at the end of this whole thing, her death will not be in vain.
No, I think just like you said, she was a really smart girl. Honestly, sometimes if I enter BRT bus, I feel very comfortable. In fact, that is when I want to sleep, because I feel it is comfortable. The doors are locked. Everywhere is locked. The AC is working. Then drop me at my destination.
Indeed.
That is how everybody sees a bus that is like that, which is BRT. Because if it's downfall that you are taking now, where everywhere they are shouting and everything, you won't want to even take a nap. But for her to have done that, sending messages to her friend, shows that she was smart. Yesterday we were speaking with our elder brother. It was heart-wrenching because at some point he had to break down. He told us how the mom, fainted. Her mom fainted twice, sister fainted, and then she had even sent a name that because his own wife was pregnant, and she sent a name that this is my, how when somebody is about to deliver, okay, this is the name I will give your child. In fact, it was just so sad that such a promising girl could be killed in Lagos. Just like BK said, in Lagos, when once you hear some things in Lagos, you begin to wonder, has this thing been happening and I don't know that it's happening in Lagos? So it means the government has to intensify effort. The BRT buses are supposed to be the safest bus in Lagos, whereby they will have cameras. I'm surprised that BRT does not have a camera. They are telling, in fact, when I was asking people, they say some have cameras, but that one doesn't have camera. And then profiling of the drivers, which BKO said is very important. It took them long weeks. You remember, because we were asking who is the driver, who took them. At the end of the day, we now saw one small passport. Right. One small passport, they said it's BVN or something. It
finally trickled in.
Okay. So that is when people, but how can somebody who is under the employ of a big organization like that just present only BVN and then they were employed? Carrying people up and down. Kemi.
All right. Well, that said, let's allow Adekunle Yusuf now, because we run out of time. You would most likely have the final word on this matter.
We just... I believe the Lagos State government will do justice,
yes, so
to
they
the
have
soul
to,
of this.
Because all eyes will be on them now.
I see this lady as a very courageous, young girl, because in moments of adversities, it is very, very difficult to take any meaningful decision.
Rational, indeed.
But because of that decision, we were able to know who the killers, are, even though justice is not yet served. But I want the state government to look at this as a wake-up call to do a holistic, job on the public transport system.
Exactly.
In Lagos. It's not just the public. Do you know this happens virtually all the time with
Yes,
Danfo?
yes,
And
you have one chance.
And
You have
and
one chance.
This
that's
is just
why
what you know.
This would say one
Yes.
chance in Lagos. It happens all the time,
Yes.
and when it happens, you hardly
There are no
find there's no
clues.
clue to and they just say missing person, he went out and he didn't come back and all that. Now, even if we start from the public sector, we should be able to do it in a way that becomes very difficult for criminals to invade that space and do their crime. We have to do something about this, and
Exactly.
I believe the state government should look beyond this crime and do a total turnaround of that.
When somebody was
All
even
right.
telling me this yesterday that he was in Lekki. A bus came all the way from Ogun State to pick him in Lekki. No, nothing, no identity, nothing. The only thing that was there is just registration.
We
I think
hope-
Lagos State, just like
we
he
hope this
said,
would indeed be a
we
wake-up
need
call.
to change the entire system.
All right,
of this.
gentlemen, we've run out of time and cannot, permit any other discussion before we are indeed pushed out of the set.
today.
But thank you so much, BKO, Adekole Yusuf, Asukwa James. I thank you all, and I thank you all indeed for watching and keeping us company. Before we go, we say a very big happy birthday to Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who clocked 65 years of age today, and we say very many happy returns to you indeed. All right, gentlemen, a quick word for the VP.
Well, we wish him well,
All right.
and for the sacrifices he's putting.
He's made.
May God, strengthen him.
Adekole.
It's our pride, and we are proud of it.
Right. BKO, a quick word from you.
So happy birthday to Jebi, our VP.
All right.
When he was in Igbobi, he was called Jebi. That was his nickname. And on this day, I say, Jebi, may God give you many more glorious years.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your kind words. And that's our 7 on Journalist Hangout today. Remember that you can join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Thanks a lot for watching. I am Kemi Fola Adeyemo. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.